Most people believe that managing diabetes, cholesterol, and belly fat is a constant uphill battle of medications, restrictions, and frustration. But what if the truth is far simpler and far closer to your kitchen than you ever imagined? I've been helping patients for over 40 years, and I can tell you this. The warning signs we often ignore, persistent fatigue, a thicker waistline, rising blood pressure, aren't just signs of getting older. They are alarms, telling us that our body's natural balance is off. And yet, the answer might not be another prescription bottle. It might be something much older, much gentler, a single leaf. I remember one of my patients, Michael, a retired school teacher in his late 60s, who came to me exhausted. He said, "Doc, I eat clean. I walk every morning. I take all the pills, and still, my numbers keep getting worse." That story is more common than you'd think. But here's what I told Michael. Your body isn't failing. It's missing something. Modern life strips us of the simple plant compounds our ancestors relied on for centuries. Compounds that don't just mask symptoms, they help your body remember how to heal. Science is finally catching up. Recent findings from respected institutions like the Mayo Clinic and Harvard suggest that certain leaves contain bioactive compounds that improve insulin sensitivity, lower LDL cholesterol, and reduce visceral fat, the dangerous kind that wraps around your organs and wears you down silently. These aren't magic bullets, they're natural helpers. And among them, one leaf stands out for its remarkable effects on all three fronts. That's what we're going to explore in this journey. You're not going to hear hype or shortcuts. You'll hear what I've seen work, again and again, in real lives. Because there is one leaf I believe every home in America should have. It's not exotic, it's not expensive, but it has the potential to change how you feel in your body every single day. So let's take a closer look, because if you've ever felt like you're doing everything right but getting nowhere, this might be the missing piece you've been searching for. When your digestion slows down, everything else follows. That's what I've learned after decades of watching patients struggle with fatigue, weight gain, and erratic blood sugar without realizing that it all starts in the gut. One of the most overlooked symptoms of early metabolic imbalance isn't just high glucose, it's bloating. It's sluggish digestion. It's the discomfort you feel after a meal that used to satisfy you but now leaves you drained. What if I told you that a simple herb most people dismiss as a garnish could begin turning that tide? Peppermint has been used for thousands of years to soothe the stomach, but modern science now confirms it goes far beyond calming your belly. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Gastroenterology found that peppermint oil can relax intestinal muscles, reducing cramping and speeding up food transit time. That means less gas, less bloating, and better absorption of nutrients. But that's just the beginning. Peppermint contains rosmarinic acid and menthol, compounds that enhance insulin sensitivity and help your body process glucose more effectively. Instead of roller coaster blood sugar levels, you get steadier energy and fewer cravings. I had a patient, Linda, who came to me feeling like her body was betraying her. She'd gained nearly 15 pounds around her middle despite sticking to her same meals and routine. When we looked deeper, the problem wasn't what she was eating, it was how her body was digesting it. I suggested she start with 1 cup of peppermint tea in the evening, not as a cure-all, but as a reset. Within 2 weeks, her bloating eased. Her energy picked up. Her fasting glucose dropped from 130 to under 115. She was shocked, but I wasn't. What makes peppermint unique is that it works quietly, in the background, supporting every system that tends to struggle when metabolism goes off track. It improves bile flow, helping break down fats. It calms the nervous system, reducing cortisol, which we know drives belly fat accumulation. It gently lowers LDL cholesterol and improves HDL, creating a more favorable heart profile. And perhaps most importantly for older adults, it's easy on the system. No side effects, no major changes, just a familiar leaf doing unfamiliar work. So next time you pass the herb section at your local market, don't just grab parsley or basil. Pick up some fresh peppermint, add it to your tea, your water, or even your evening salad. Because sometimes, the quietest solutions are the ones that speak loudest to your body. Chronic inflammation doesn't scream. It whispers until it becomes the reason your blood sugar spikes, your belly won't shrink, and your cholesterol creeps up year after year. I've seen it happen in patients who seemed perfectly healthy on the outside. No pain, no drama, just slow, steady decline. And the truth is, many of us are living with silent inflammation that medicine doesn't always catch early enough. But nature has always had its way of keeping that fire in check. And some of the oldest, most trusted herbs are still the best tools we have today. Let me start with sage. This isn't just the stuff you sprinkle on roasted chicken. Sage contains powerful compounds like carnosic acid and flavonoids that target inflammation deep within your cells. It helps improve insulin sensitivity, especially in older adults whose cells don't respond to glucose as efficiently anymore. A study in the British Journal of Nutrition found that sage tea, taken twice daily, significantly lowered fasting glucose in people with type 2 diabetes. That's not hype, that's science. But there's more. Sage boosts bile production, which means your body digests fat more effectively and stores less around the midsection. It also modulates appetite hormones, making it easier to feel full without overeating. I remember Evelyn, a former librarian who once told me, "I don't understand. I'm eating less, but gaining more." We added sage tea to her nightly routine. In 6 weeks, she reported fewer cravings, steadier energy, and her waistline began to soften. She didn't change her diet dramatically, just gave her body a tool it had been missing. Now, let's talk about holy basil. Not the sweet basil in your pasta sauce, but its ancient cousin, revered in traditional medicine. Holy basil is rich in adaptogens, which help your body respond to stress more gracefully. That matters because elevated cortisol not only spikes blood sugar, but also drives fat storage around the belly. Holy basil calms that cascade. It's also packed with antioxidants that protect your arteries and lower LDL cholesterol. In one randomized controlled trial, participants who took holy basil extract saw improvements in both glucose control and lipid profiles within 8 weeks. Holy basil is like a quiet guardian. You can brew it into tea, stir it into broths, or use it as a calming infusion before bed. Together, sage and holy basil form a powerful duo against inflammation and metabolic imbalance. They don't just cover up symptoms, they remind your body how to function the way it was meant to. And sometimes, that gentle reminder is exactly what we need to start healing. Most people don't realize this, but the food you eat can either put out the fire in your arteries or throw gasoline on it. And when that fire burns quietly for too long, it becomes the hidden cause behind the fatigue, the belly fat that won't budge, and the blood sugar that creeps higher with every birthday. I've seen patients bring me perfect lab results on paper, and yet their bodies told a different story. Puffy faces, swollen ankles, restless nights. And almost every time, their meals were missing something so basic, it seemed too simple to matter leaves. Not just any leaves, but the ones with deep green color and centuries of healing behind them. Let's start with oregano. You probably know it as the bold herb in pasta sauces, but it's far more than a flavor enhancer. Oregano contains carvacrol and thymol, compounds with potent antioxidant and antimicrobial effects. These help reduce oxidative stress, which is a major trigger for insulin resistance and cholesterol buildup. In a study from the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry, oregano extract was shown to improve lipid profiles and support healthy glucose metabolism in diabetic models. It also enhances bile flow, which helps your body break down fats before they become stubborn belly storage. I once treated a man named Charles, a retired firefighter in his early 70s, who told me, "Doc, I don't eat much, but I feel heavier than ever." We added fresh oregano to his meals and a pinch of dried leaves to his tea. Within a month, his bloating had eased, and he told me his morning energy felt like it had been rewound by a decade. Sometimes, it's not about eating less, it's about eating smarter. Now let's turn to parsley. Often ignored as a garnish, parsley is one of nature's most efficient internal cleansers. It's rich in apigenin and luteolin, two compounds that have been shown to reduce inflammation and support vascular health. Parsley also acts as a gentle diuretic, helping flush out excess sodium and fluid that weigh down your heart and kidneys. A clinical trial published in the International Journal of Molecular Sciences noted parsley's role in reducing LDL cholesterol and improving antioxidant status in human participants. What's more, its high potassium content helps balance blood pressure naturally. I remember Gloria, a retired teacher, who started adding chopped parsley to her morning eggs and evening soup. It wasn't long before she noticed her rings slid on easier, her digestion improved, and her blood pressure readings stopped bouncing. It didn't take a diet overhaul, just a small, steady act of self-care that grew into a habit. When combined, oregano and parsley don't just flavor your food, they help your body process it with more ease and less inflammation. And when that happens, your metabolism starts to hum again, quietly and reliably. Stress doesn't just weigh on your mind, it quietly rewires your metabolism. I've watched countless patients chase better blood sugar, cholesterol, or weight loss, while the real culprit sits deeper. Their nervous system's stuck in overdrive. Chronic stress raises cortisol, and elevated cortisol turns your body into a fat-storing, sugar-spiking machine. You don't have to feel anxious to be stressed. Even subtle tension, poor sleep, daily worries, skipped meals can light that fire. And once it's burning, even healthy habits struggle to make a dent. But here's where nature gives us a gentle hand. Lemon balm is a soft-scented leaf from the mint family, often used in teas to calm the nerves. But its power goes beyond soothing. Studies, including one from the Phytomedicine Journal, show that lemon balm helps lower cortisol levels, while improving mood and cognitive function. When cortisol drops, your body stops hoarding fat around the belly and starts using glucose more efficiently. Lemon balm also supports digestion, reduces inflammation, and mildly lowers LDL cholesterol. It's gentle, safe, and especially helpful in the evening when stress tends to linger. I had a patient, Margaret, who couldn't lose weight no matter what she tried. She was disciplined with meals, walked every day, and even took her medications faithfully. But her sleep was shallow, and her mind never quite rested. We added lemon balm tea to her nightly ritual. Within 10 days, her sleep deepened. Within 3 weeks, her morning glucose dipped under 100 for the first time in years. She told me it felt like a fog finally lifted. Mint, though often mistaken as just a refreshing garnish, is equally potent. Menthol, its key compound, helps relax gastrointestinal muscles, improve bile flow, and reduce bloating. It also enhances insulin sensitivity, which means fewer spikes and crashes. According to research from the Journal of Diabetes and Metabolic Disorders, mint extract improved glucose metabolism and reduced oxidative stress in animal models. And like lemon balm, it calms the nervous system, helping your body move from fight or flight back into rest and digest. I often tell my patients that healing isn't about force. It's about finding rhythm again. A warm cup of lemon balm in the evening. A handful of mint in your salad or water. Small steps that tell your body, you're safe now. And when your body feels safe, it starts to heal. The most dangerous fat in your body isn't the one you can pinch. It's the kind you can't see, the one wrapping around your liver, your pancreas, your heart. I've had patients walk into my office with normal body weight and still suffer from the consequences of hidden visceral fat. It slows the liver, disrupts blood sugar, fuels cholesterol buildup, and most people don't even know it's there until they're already tired, inflamed, and feeling stuck. But nature has always given us tools to restore liver health, gently and steadily. Basil is one of them. Beyond its fragrant aroma, basil is rich in eugenol and flavonoids that calm systemic inflammation and improve insulin sensitivity. It also acts as an adaptogen, helping your body respond better to stress, which is crucial because stress hormones like cortisol push fat directly to the belly. A study published in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology found that basil extract reduced both blood glucose and total cholesterol in type 2 diabetic patients. And basil isn't hard to use. Toss it into salads, blend it into sauces, or steep it into a calming tea. I once treated a woman named Ruth, a widow in her mid-60s who came to me after her doctor warned her of early-stage fatty liver. She wasn't overweight, but her waist had thickened, and her labs showed rising triglycerides. We didn't start with medication. We started with habits. One of them was fresh basil with lunch. After 8 weeks, her liver enzymes improved, her energy returned, and her digestion no longer made her feel like a balloon. Her face lit up when she said, "I feel like myself again." Now let's talk about dandelion. Most people think of it as a weed, but dandelion is one of the most effective liver-supporting herbs on earth. It contains bitter compounds that stimulate bile production, helping the liver break down fats more efficiently. It also acts as a diuretic, flushing out excess fluid and lightening the load on the kidneys. Research from the Journal of Alternative and Complementary Medicine showed that dandelion root improved hepatic function and supported blood sugar regulation in animal studies. I often describe dandelion tea as a daily tune-up for your inner engine. It clears the backlog, it lifts the fog, and when your liver is no longer overwhelmed, everything from metabolism to mood starts to improve. Combine that with basil's calming anti-inflammatory power, and you have a natural duo that doesn't just manage symptoms, it rewrites the story from the inside out. One of the biggest lies we've been told is that diabetes is all about sugar. But what if I told you that the real culprit, what quietly damages your metabolism for years, is fat in the wrong place? Specifically, fat inside the liver. Fat that you don't feel. Fat that doesn't show up until your blood sugar is already unstable and your energy levels have hit rock bottom. I've seen this pattern so many times that I now look at the liver before anything else. And thankfully, nature gives us 3 unexpected allies. Leaves you've probably never thought of straight from the fruit trees we already know and love. Let's start with the avocado leaf. While the creamy green fruit gets all the attention, the leaf carries potent anti-inflammatory compounds like quercetin and flavonoids. These help reduce hepatic fat accumulation and improve how your body responds to insulin. In a study published in the Journal of Medicinal Food, avocado leaf extract improved glucose tolerance and lipid metabolism in animal models. It also reduced blood pressure and supported kidney function critical for older adults managing chronic conditions. The taste is mild, earthy. Brew it into a tea and sip slowly after meals. Now to the mango leaf. This one surprised even me when I saw the data. Mango leaves are packed with mangiferin, a bioactive compound shown to improve insulin signaling and reduce fasting blood glucose. In human studies, mangiferin also decreased LDL cholesterol and triglycerides, while improving antioxidant markers. Mango leaf tea isn't just fragrant, it's functional. It gives your metabolism the gentle nudge it needs to use sugar as energy, not store it as fat. Then there's the humble bay leaf. Most people toss it into soups without thinking twice, but its benefits go far beyond flavor. Bay leaf stimulates digestive enzymes, improves bile flow, and lowers post-meal glucose levels. In one clinical trial, patients who consumed ground bay leaf daily saw improvements in both HbA1c and lipid profiles over a 30-day period. It also acts as a vasodilator, supporting better circulation and less pressure on the heart. I had a patient named Richard, a former postal worker, who came in with rising glucose despite a plant-heavy diet. We added avocado and mango leaf tea to his evenings and had him simmer bay leaf into his stews. 2 months later, his labs showed improved liver enzymes, a 5-point drop in HbA1c, and his energy came back in a way he hadn't felt in years. He looked me in the eye and said, "I finally feel like my body is listening again." These leaves aren't exotic. They're humble, accessible, and when used with intention, they quietly help your liver, pancreas, and metabolism find their rhythm again. What if the reason your blood sugar won't stabilize isn't because you're doing it wrong, but because your cells have forgotten how to listen? That's something I've told more patients than I can count. When your metabolism becomes resistant to insulin, to regulation, even to good habits, it can feel like your body is ignoring your efforts. But there's one natural compound I've seen work where others have failed, and it comes from a leaf that's been quietly healing for thousands of years. Let's start with mulberry. This isn't the sweet fruit in your cereal, it's the leaf that supports blood sugar control by blocking certain enzymes that break down carbs too quickly. In a study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, participants who took mulberry leaf extract saw reduced post-meal glucose spikes and improved insulin response. Mulberry also supports liver and kidney health by lowering oxidative stress key systems often overworked in diabetic conditions. It gently enhances metabolism, helping your body burn fat more efficiently. But the leaf I want to end with, the one I believe deserves a place in every household, is the olive leaf. Long before we pressed olives for oil, we brewed the leaves for healing. And now we know why. Olive leaves contain oleuropein, a compound so powerful it addresses nearly every system involved in metabolic disease. It improves insulin sensitivity, lowers LDL cholesterol, reduces inflammation, and protects blood vessels from damage. According to research from the European Journal of Nutrition, oleuropein supplementation significantly improved markers of metabolic syndrome in humans over 12 weeks. I treated a couple, Don and Helen, both in their early 70s, who had struggled for years with stubborn glucose and cholesterol numbers. We added olive leaf extract to their routine. Nothing else changed. 3 months later, both had dropped their HbA1c, their energy levels were up, and Don, with a laugh, said, "I thought this was snake oil, but my numbers say otherwise." That's the thing. Olive leaf isn't flashy, but it's deeply effective. When paired with mulberry, the effects don't just add, they synergize. They remind your body of what health used to feel like, what balance used to look like, and most importantly, what progress still feels like at any age. If you've ever felt like your health plateaued, like you're trying but nothing changes, maybe the next step isn't harder work. Maybe it's smarter support. And sometimes that starts with a single leaf.